Hey, I'm Trevor Snyder with the Locals Group and LPT Realty. And hey, I just wanted to talk about a few things. I sit in with a lot of Zoom meetings and watch a lot of videos on different things. And I have my mortgage license as well as real estate license. And this is a few things that are very interesting to me. And I wanted to show this video that is from one of the wholesalers, UWM, and they basically have a stronghold on the broker market. And Matt Ishby is just going to talk about a few things. He's the guy that owns the Phoenix Suns and the Mercury, and he is the CEO of UWM. But he's going to talk about the CFPB's funding structure that the Supreme Court said it was constitutional and whatnot. He's also going to talk about the buyer's agents commissions, and then thirdly, the blended interest rates. So it's really interesting stuff. Let's take a look at this and just get going on this. I'll give you my commentary. I won't probably talk about too much about the CFPB.
Hi there, I'm Matt Ishby, President and CEO of UWM, and this is 3 points. First point, the CFPB's funding structure confirmed. So in a 7-2 opinion, the Supreme Court reversed the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals ruling about the CFPB. Basically, the funding structure was, inappropriate. They couldn't do it that way. Basically, a lot of people are thinking, the CFPB is going to be disbanded. That's not happening, and the Supreme Court confirmed it. So first off, this is good. This is good. The CFPB has done great things for our industry. People want to say, the regulation has actually helped. It's helped mortgage brokers because it's helped consumers. Better for consumers is better for mortgage brokers and all of us that are watching this video. So the CFPB being there is a good thing. It stops people doing things the wrong way, helping consumers. And so the CFPB's funding structure being confirmed just makes it so you can know there's not going to be a massive change coming forward. The CFPB is here to stay. It's going to be here going forward, and it's going to continue to help the industry. Do they do everything perfect? Absolutely not. But they've done more good than bad. They've helped consumers, and when they help consumers, you know how it helps? Brokers and lenders like ourselves. So the CFPB is here to stay. They've done good things so far, and they'll continue to do good things for years to come. Second point, buyer's agent commission. So we talked about this before about the buyer's agent and what changes are going to happen and how it's going to change the whole industry, but it's really not going to. We talked about that, and we said how conventional, it's not considered an interested party contribution, so therefore you're good to go. It's going to be very similar. There's a couple changes. It's no longer hidden, right? So they can't hide it anymore. So it's going to be transparent, and they got to communicate what they're doing, and it's not automatic either. But the U.S. Department of Veteran Affairs came out and released a circular that's now, between now and June 12th, that bridges the gap on the agency law that prohibits VA buyers for paying the real estate. Basically, VA came out and said, we're going to make it so it's fine. The buyer can do that. And hey, conventional's done it. And everything's going to be just fine. So everyone's so focused on all the things, and the world is changing, the sky's falling. The world's really not changing. The sky's not falling. The buyer's agents are going to be fine. How can you add value? How can you have knowledge to communicate with them about the VA changes and how conventional it works with? It's not considered an interest party contribution because it's custom in that area and common in that area. Understanding these changes, understanding how this works going forward is so important to your success, but not the doom and gloom of the buyer's agents are going to be struggling. We're not going to get any more leads or referrals. That's not how it's going. VA made a change, conventional. People are going to continue to do business as usual and continue to win. Buyer's agents are here to stay, and they're going to continue to thrive in our market and in the future markets. Third,
hold on, before he goes on with that, just to hit on this point real quick, buyer's agents, I feel like they've tried to get rid of them for a long time, and the fact is, finder's fees have always existed, whether you've had your real estate license or not. And the fact is, people with knowledge always command a price. And I remember several times where builders stopped paying buyer's agents, and I'll tell you what, they stopped getting nearly as much business. They could advertise, but they just weren't getting the business, because when somebody talks to a realtor, they want to know, hey, is a new build the best for me or pre-existing? What are my options? Let me talk about everything. Can we talk, and a realtor can really talk about the options, right? And so it gives somebody more options, or through one person that they start to begin to trust after a while. And so it didn't work for builders. I just don't see it working now. All the lenders are getting on board, because the fact is, we need buyer's agents to get those people. There's something like 14% of all closings, all real estate closings, that are done by buyers that are off market. And what does that mean? It means they weren't searching in the first place. So somebody found them, brought them on market, said, hey, why don't you get pre-approved and purchase it? They weren't actually looking for a house at the time. 14%. And oftentimes that is buyer's agents that are bringing people to the table. So just that, I just want to go over that, but let's finish this last point with blended rates because I really like this point. This is the
Point.
best one.
Interest rates versus blended house rates. So understand what a blended house rate is really. What does that house, what do those people in that house pay for their mortgage and all their things across the board? With credit card debt up 50% in the last 3 years, right? With the average interest rate for new credit cards is 24.7%, the highest since 2019. With American debt at 1.1 trillion in credit card debt, right now, which is up 13% per year. The opportunities to understand interest rate on the mortgage versus their blended house rate, understand where that difference is. That's why there's so many cash out refinances. That's why people are still looking at it, because there's a lot of equity in houses that we talked about before here on 3 points. There's a lot of equity in houses, but are they taking advantage? And a lot of people are starting to cash out and save overall money, their blended house rate versus what interest rates are today. So understand what people are paying on a monthly basis, understand what credit card debt is and where it's going to continue to go, and understand how you can help consumers. Talking to your consumers, understand where they're at and helping them, whether even though their rate might be 4 or 5%, maybe a blended rate at 6.5% on a cash out might make more sense than what they're paying with all their credit card debts. Understanding this, having intelligent business conversations, all this stuff matters. Blended rate versus interest rates, that number is changing, and it might be cheaper to go with the interest rates than what their current blended rate is. Thanks for joining me. I'm Matt Ishby, President and CEO of UWM, and that was 3 points.
Okay. Just for the record, I've gone to live events at UWM, seen Matt live, and he talks the same speed live. So I don't think that was more than one take. I'm sure he just nailed everything and said exactly what he wanted to say. The guy's really impressive. He knows his stuff. With that being said, blended rates. This is a huge thing because when you go to talk to somebody about, hey, why don't you refinance? And then it's basically cash out money so that you can pay off your credit cards and everything, because credit card debt's gotten to the point where people are paying 20%, 30% on credit cards. I saw somebody posted something over in Idaho the other day, one of my old friends, that said it was like a 70% credit card. And he was just trying to figure out if that was even legal. Turned out it was for what it was. And it's crazy. Okay. But 20-30%. And so you're thinking, okay, I currently have even a 3%, but you're like, I got a ton of equity in my house and I don't want to move, I'd have to buy a new place. I could pay that off, but what if I wanted to stay in my current house and not pay the commissions of selling or whatever and just refinance? It's a huge opportunity just to consolidate all that stuff. And yes, you will end up with a higher rate, 6.5%, 7.5%. But I think at a certain point, everybody needs to come to terms with where they are in their life and what they need to do. And this is a great opportunity to figure out if this would be beneficial for you. If you have any questions, please get a hold of me and we can talk about it. My email address, phone number, everything is in the description. I'd love to hear from you, and I hope to catch you on the next video. You need to hear about Matt Ishby talk about blended rates. It's incredible.